My glasses, I'm messed up already. Lord have mercy. Come on in, come on in. Let me know that you're here. This is Robert Anton. And I am watching Kevin Hart and Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah, one of my favorite modern comics.
So the same way you can hear me on a microphone,
You can hear the audience.
So people are come and go and whatnot. And
so I'll probably do like 8 mics.
but do you?
Maybe 8 to 10 mics.
So that the audience can hear the
You
audience.
can hear the audience.
Oh, I like
So-
that.
so-
I need to find what section the mics are in, so I can just shout comments in
Yeah,
your
so
show.
you can just shout out.
I can
I
just
know
find
the
the
mic
mic
is
and
here.
shout things out.
I know you put a mic
You're a
here.
lot smaller in real life.
You're a lot smaller in real life. That's so.
Microphones. I'll just be the guy heckling in a
I'm
10,000 seat
gung-ho.
arena. I'll always tell people the story and I never hold back.
Wait a minute, Trevor. Wait a minute, Trevor. So, like, okay. So I love Trevor Noah, and they're sitting here doing like a podcast or whatever. And I don't know. It's called What Now? And maybe is it Trevor? What Now with Trevor Noah? Is that his new podcast? I hadn't heard of it before. It just came across my FYP or whatever. I love Trevor Noah. I love him. I found him on YouTube at some point, and I was watching his videos. And like after I don't know, maybe a few days or something like that, one of the videos was him telling the story of it was a comedy bit, the story of how his mother was shot in the head by his stepfather. And I thought it was gonna be like, oh my God, that's kind of cringe, right? He made it so funny from like the very beginning. He was like, somebody called me early in the morning, like 11 o'clock. Like from the jump, he had the jokes going from the jump, and his little brother, he was talking, I want to play the PlayStation. He's just so funny. So I love him. I absolutely, during that, I liked his comedy to begin with, and he does a lot of, I don't know if you ever watched The Daily Show. I never really watched The Daily Show, but he does a lot of accents and stuff like that. And whenever he goes somewhere to like a different country, he tries to learn their accent and use it on stage. And I think that's just really great because when you try to learn someone's, I don't know, well, I know when I travel, I go like try to learn some of the language when I go somewhere. So like when I went to Germany, I took German. I was there for 5 months. So I took German. Before I went to go to any Spanish speaking country, I usually get in my Spanish class or whatever, and doing my Spanish learning, my, brushing up. And I don't speak a whale, but I can say hello, goodbye, please, thank you, blah, blah, blah. Little bitty things. And when I meet folks, we can have a little conversation. But he learns their accent to use in the show, I guess just to make people comfortable who are wherever he is. And I think that's like the greatest thing in the world. Because when you make other people comfortable, then getting to know you. And I say this when I do shows too. When I was doing a lot of shows promoting my music, I was doing a lot of production on my different CDs and stuff. And every time I released one, I would book shows. And generally I would find venues that were like not regular venues. I would walk by someplace and they looked like it had a really nice space. And I would walk in and start talking to whoever and be like, I'm a singer. Do you guys ever have shows or anything here? And they might be like, oh yeah, sometimes we have like an acoustic guitar, blah, 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 this, whatever. And I was like, I would love to do a show here. I'm releasing a CD. Like, can we talk about blah, blah, blah? And generally it worked out. So with my music shows, even though I was doing original music, I always start out each set with a cover tune. Because what it does is it gets everybody comfortable. They get to know you. It's a familiar song, so they can just relax and listen to the song, and they can compare you to the original artist or their favorite artist. So they kind of they're like, oh, he's like this, but he's better than so and so, but he doesn't do this so well, or and that's what people want to do. They want to be able to know what to expect. And to give because if when it's original music, a lot of times you don't know if it's going to be great or if it's going to be good, the person's voice is great or not. If you've never seen them before, sometimes you just don't know. So if you give them a little something to anchor them, then they get comfortable and they can relax and they can actually listen to the music and enjoy it and judge it because they're going to judge. one way or the other. Even if they say, "Oh, I'm just sitting here enjoying myself," they are judging like, "Oh, I don't like those lyrics. Oh, I love that beat. Oh, really? They brought in that saxophone. It sounds so good. Oh, this is vibing." Because a lot of people, too many people, but a lot of people don't really fall in love with a song until like the 15th time they hear it or something like that. That's why the radios play them over and over and over and over and over and over again. Then people can really get comfortable with them, and then they can say, "Oh, I really like this." I'm the type, when I hear a song the first time, I'm like, boom, if I like it, I like it. If I love it, I love it. Ariana Grande came out with her album on Friday, beautiful, eternal sunshine, eternal sunshine. And I listened to it once. I was loved, and I knew my favorite songs on it immediately. But it's just a lot of people aren't like that. A lot of people, it takes them a little while to get used to it and to get into stuff. Yeah, my favorite song on the album is Bye. I call it Boy Bye because she says that a lot. But it's Bye. And she performed, is it We Can't Be Friends or something, on SNL, I think, last night. I still have to watch the clips. I haven't watched them yet. But I will be watching them today before the Oscars because I'm watching the Oscars tonight. I'm also going to be tweeting. This is kind of the pre-show. I probably might take a little nap or something like that. I might go out and get a few things, some snacks and stuff. Even though I have snacks over there right now. So I might not need snacks. And I made brownies last night, but they're special brownies. So I don't want to be doing those too quickly or I won't make it to the end of the Oscars. If you're watching this, it's 7 o'clock today, so make sure 7 o'clock. Is it NBC or CBS? I don't remember. I gotta look that up. But anyway, I'm gonna watch a little bit more of this podcast. It's Trevor Noah because I want to listen to it.
Everyone's seen, like now.
If you're here, make sure to like the video.
Nobody.
Give me a thumbs up.
Just shout things up to the microphones. I'll just be the guy heckling in a
I'm
10,000 seat
gung-ho.
arena. I'll always tell people the story, and I never hold back. I go, nobody wanted to come on the Daily Show when I was starting. Everyone's seen, like now, I hold an Emmy, people go, oh, it's obvious, well-deserved. Nobody wanted to come on that show.
See, he's talking about what I was just talking
They
about.
were like, if I say I'm with him, I don't know who he is, what he's going to do, how he's going to, I understand that fear. I don't even hold it against people. You were literally the first person who said, I will do it. I will open this random African person's TV show after Jon Stewart.
Absolutely.
And I'll ride with it. And I'm eternally grateful. I was like, Kevin Hart. And I get it. I was like, if he can support Bill Cosby, he can support
Well,
me.
okay. Well, that's a weird way.
And I just want to say I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
okay. Well, I feel like we can edit that.
He's just so funny. I love him. He can support Bill Cosby. He
I
can support
sometimes
me.
think some people feel like you were this immediate overnight success because in a strange way, they didn't remember all of these characters you were playing in all of these movies. Do you get what I'm saying?
I mean,
Because it did seem like all of a sudden you were just the face of a franchise and the face of a movie.
Like
But I
Matt
feel
Rife.
Kevin Hart was grinding away in 3-minute
I
segments
was
in
number
different people's
7
movies.
and 10.
People thought he blew up just immediately, but wasn't he on Wild 'N Out for several seasons?
And then after that scene, you wouldn't see me no more. But I made it my business to put together what I would consider to be some funny, impactful moments in whatever the thing was.
Yeah.
And I said, if I do enough of them, the cast and directors are all the same. Eventually, they got to say, this guy deserves a bigger part, or we should do something else with the guy. From that point on, I stepped up to all cameos. There was the Scary Movies. There was Along Came Polly. It was 40-Year-Old Virgin. It was Gerald Taylor.
See, I don't know why. I didn't know why I was watching this. Hey, how you doing? We were watching Kevin Hart on Trevor Noah's show, What Now? I just found it. It came across my FYP, I'm going to call it, even though this is YouTube. But things just happen for a reason, I think. And what he's talking about, what Kevin Hart is talking about, is when you're performing, you take these little bitty jobs and these little bitty parts in things. And some people feel like, oh, I'm just background, or I just got 2 lines, so it's not that important. But if you're throwing yourself into it and you bringing everything you can to it, it is important because there are all these people on set. There's all these people who are watching you. They're seeing your professionalism. Some of them are either the assistant directors or they're the part of the screenwriters or the writer's room. But some of them are people who are going to be big directors soon, or they're going to be big producers soon in the future. And if you impress those people, then they think about you when a role comes up. That's like so and so be perfect. I saw this guy, and he was in blah 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 and the other, and like he was so amazing. He had such a nice personality. He was so cool to me. Even I was nobody. Then they might just call you up and be like, "Can you do this role? Like, come in and read for so and so and so." They might say, "Come do it," and they might say, "Come and read for it," because you got to have chemistry with other people and stuff like that. Unless you're headlining, then they have to have chemistry with you. If you're the star with your name above the title, then they have to have chemistry with you. So whatever your chemistry is, boom, that's all that matters. And then, but like he's talking about that right now on this little
I can go
podcast.
down.
I've never seen. I don't know how many. I'm going to be watching this.
Nobody fucking knew me. Like I was the guy.
Oh, it's on Spotify.
He was in shit.
He says watch the full episode on Spotify. Because this is just like 9
I
minutes.
just saw him. What's the shit he was in? Clapping, stomping, trying to come up. I never could get it. That motherfucker he had on the hat.
I'm like that. I'm like that. I'm like that with some people because like I just saw American Fiction. If you haven't seen it, please go see it. So I saw American Fiction, and the woman who plays Max or played Max in Living Single, she was the guy's eventually, I guess, her girlfriend. And I can never remember her name. I think now it's Erica Alexander. I think. But like I couldn't remember her name when I was trying to talk about it. And Tracy Ellis Ross, I'm like, Diana Ross's daughter of the funny one. She's been on. I just could not remember that. I couldn't remember Sterling K. Brown's name either. But it popped into my head later on. That's how my mind works sometimes. I'll be trying to think something, and then I'll be doing something totally different, and bam, it'll pop into my. I was like, oh, I was thinking about so and so and so. Okay.
Right in front of your face. And you're like, just ask me, man, so I can tell you. Nah, fuck it then. They just leave.
The worst is when they say something that diminishes you in front of you,
Absolutely.
while still giving you a compliment. By the way, they'll be like, he's the dude.
Dumb motherfucker.
And then someone will say something. They'll be like, no, he's not that funny. The guy.
no.
Oh.
He's a stupid motherfucker. What's the stupid motherfucker we said? What's the motherfucker we said ugly as shit?
Oh man.
Yeah.
I have some scaffolding in me as well as a
What does
person.
scaffolding mean?
So
Don't just throw therapy words out there.
no, this is not therapy words at all.
Therapy
This is
words.
not therapy
Don't
speak at all.
assume your audience
This is
has
not-
been to
this
the
is not-
to the therapist.
this
as
is
well.
not- this is
As
not-
a very selfish therapist, like
This is not therapy talk at all.
scaffolding is
this is-
definitely therapy talk.
It's like tummy bubbles.
Tummy bubbles.
I didn't, you talking about
Tummy bubbles is
bubbles?
like someone would use that in therapy as well.
Okay, all right.
If you
Agree
like
to
bubbles,
disagree.
stomach bubbles.
What I just said, that was not a therapy word, and I feel like
if you say it's tummy bubbles, I go that's a therapy word.
I
It's
would
just
say
the way it's.
I would say gaslighting.
Yes.
I think low key, I want to say that this was like your way of giving me a therapy session that you think I need.
no,
And I'm gonna talk to you about it later. I
No.
think you
He's so
just,
stupid.
no.
I think you gas bombed me. What?
I love his laugh too, Trevor. I love Trevor Noah's laugh. He's like,
I think you gas bombed me.
he's so funny. He's such a good comedian. And I try to be funny myself too. You know what I'm saying? And I do have some funny ideas. And usually when I'm like not thinking about it, I always tell people because they're like, oh, you should do comedy or whatever. And I'm like, no, because it's when I'm not thinking about it that I'm funny. When I'm like reacting, like I might be good in like a situation comedy kind of thing, because it's when I'm reacting to something and something happens and I'll just be like, something just flies into my mind and comes out of my mouth because I can't hold it. And it'll be hilarious. Like everybody be cracking up. I'll be cracking up. And I'm like, but I can't do that. Like I generally don't just write like that. Even when I write funny stuff for skits and stuff like that, it's because I have thought about it. It came to me, basically, inspiration, and maybe I built the skit around it. But like, I don't know. I have to really pull to try to be funny. I got to think about things in the past and stuff like that because it just doesn't come. And I guess it's like anything else. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the more that it comes to you, the more quickly you can access it. But I'm doing so many things. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Who that up in the room? Let me say hello because we're just hanging out for a few minutes. And I was watching that little Trevor Noah thing. Hey, Robert. Hey, what's going on, Mary? Is that what they say? Merrick? It just says Merri. Is that right? So yeah, I was watching that, and you know what this reminds me? because I always tell people that I get ideas from everywhere. I think of stories that are spurred by other things, and just there when I was stopping that video, it was because those things that they were saying were either spurring something in my imagination, or a memory, or some bit of advice that I might be able to give about something. So like I'm never out of ideas because I can literally be watching this podcast and just get 3 or 4 ideas. Now all I gotta do is work on them, write them up or whatever, and work on them, either list them somewhere. And I have lists and lists and lists of ideas right now, and I have actually probably 3 or 4 scripts that I need to shoot that I haven't shot because they're kind of involved. And I'm like, so it's not that I'm lazy, it's just that I'm like, do I feel like doing that right now? I want to be in the moment and everything like that. And so I'm like, but I need to start working on them. Especially, well, one of them, the final line of the script just keeps coming back to me often, so often. And actually, it's the longest and most complicated one to shoot. But it comes back all the time, and I just know if it's even moderately popular on the site. I know people are gonna be saying this line back to me all the time. They're gonna be like, because like I did this one skit on TikTok where like I was like at the end I'm like pancakes, and believe me, 300 400 people say pancakes to me, pancakes. They're like, yeah, I want that to be a sound, I want to use that, that's the sound, I want that as my ringtone. And then this is the same kind of thing, this last line of this skit. But I wrote this skit probably 3 months ago, and I want to do a skit that I just wrote last week. It's a little less complicated. Plus, it's an ongoing thing, so it's like got a cliffhanger. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do is like as I get feedback on it, I'll start writing the next part of it. Maybe with some things that people have mentioned, and they spur a different idea than I was planning on going. Because I really don't know where I want to go after the first segment. It could just be something I just drop and leave, but I can see it being something that's a longer term series. Very dramatic. There's only 3 people in it. It could be 2, but I added in a third person just to be like, she doesn't even speak. She just like does little movements and stuff. And I have an idea for her when she does start speaking. She only says certain words, so she'll say 2 or 3 different words because that's all she knows. That's all she knows in English, I guess. She understands English, but she doesn't speak it. But she has like 3 words that she can say. And I see like and for me when I'm working up skits and I start writing stuff, each of the characters has a personality, and throughout the days before, and I think this is the reason why I take a while to shoot sometimes. Sometimes I just jump on and do something. Like if I know the characters really well already, then I can just boom boom. Like I have 2 characters, Mamie and Pops, and they're like my grandmother and grandfather. They've been married for like 60 years, and they're real randy, always fooling around and always flirting with each other and always like, very, very sweet kind of older couple, but very nasty. So, and when I write a skit for them, which I haven't done in a while, which I should do soon, but when I write a skit for them, I know them. I can write the skit and jump up and have all the inflections and infusion with emotion and all that different stuff. So like the characters for other stuff, sometimes I have to think about like what kind of person this is, where they're from, that is and the other. And because I want them to be more than one dimensional. I want them to be people that could live on outside of the skit necessarily, because I'm creating all these different things, to move on to something bigger, hopefully, eventually. And of course, they would all come with me, all of them that have been resonating with people on TikTok and on YouTube. They would be with me because they created me and I created them, and it's just such a great thing. It's such a blessing to be a creator, someone who brings things into the world, into the universe that weren't initially there. And I do realize that a lot of times it's through inspiration from the spirits, the ancestors, whatever you want to call it. And me and a friend were talking about the other day. We hadn't talked in a while. We talked for like 2 hours. And we were talking about, catching up with each other's lives and talking about spirit and talking about our projects that we're working on and stuff like that. And she's an actress, singer, dancer herself, and I'll never forget her. I love her so much. One time, I was auditioning for Dreamgirls um, at a theater here, Westchester Broadway Theater. This was 95, summer of 95. So I was doing a show at the time. So we were in rehearsal and we were going Bucks County. We were going to Bucks County to perform the show. Um, so I was trying to run in and out of, auditions, and they were so sweet. They were so nice. They were making time for me. When I had a callback, they had me my first callback. I was like, well, I have rehearsal that day. So they were like, oh, just come in whenever you can, and we'll see you. I mean, they were just so freaking cool. And I was thinking to myself, why are these people so nice? Like, hey, I really was. I was like, I didn't, I was pretty new in New York and all that different stuff. So I didn't understand it. It's because they liked me. They liked my personality. They liked my voice. And they cast me in the show. But before they cast me, while we were still in the audition process, I was talking to her. I've known her for many, many, many years. I was talking to her, and I was like, girl, ain't nobody sing like you up in here. Like, you need to come and do this audition. So she didn't tell me that she went to do the audition. She got cast. She was going to try to surprise me. But they sent out a cast list like 2 weeks before we were starting rehearsal. So I saw her name and called. I was like, oh, no, you got the job. I knew it. Because I tell you, I mean, we were both in the chorus, but like, I knew, like, I was listening to girls who were singing, and I was like, she could out sing them, like, in a minute. She can't sing like I can. And she booked the job. We did it. The Westchester Broadway Theater. And the leads in the show ended up being like, two of them were soap stars. The guy who played the Jamie Foxx part, and the girl who played the Dina, the Beyonce part. They were both soap stars. And the other like lead characters were all Broadway people. So I was like, oh shoot, I'm just happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy to be here up in the house. And while we were doing the show, I think we did it all summer, not summer, like all fall. And all these Broadway people, all black Broadway people came up to see the show. Gregory Hines and his wife, and they all ended up coming backstage. Lilius White came, and she not only came backstage, but she rode our 15 passenger van home with us because she was going back to the city. She had caught the train up. So she rode the van back with us. And just a bunch of other people, I can't think of all the names and stuff like that, but a bunch of other Broadway folks came up to see the show. My agent, the person who was soon to be my agent, saw the show. I was with a different agency that I also got through another production of Dreamgirls. Yeah. So it was just like an exciting time and stuff like that. But we were just talking about manifestation and all that good things, all this existential stuff. And some stuff that's been happening with me lately that's just been really exciting. So I was like, oh my God, I'm in such a good place, a good space right now. And I'm on a 30-day yoga challenge. I did day 10. I'm 1/3 of the way through. I did day 10 today, and my body feels it's a little like, like when you're tingling, when your body is tingling and stuff, like it's like kind of tingling. It feels really good, and it feels like I'm working hard, but not like too hard, like I'm shredding my muscles or anything like that. It's like this energy is just emanating out of me. I'm very warm and just radiating, it seems like, energy. And it feels good. But I'm doing this 30-day challenge because my gig season starts in April. First weekend in April, I'm flying down to Florida to do a gig at a country club, and then we're flying back up with the same band to do a gig up here in the Bowery. So I haven't even gotten that contract yet, but we do it every year, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna be doing it this year. We've been doing it since before the pandemic. She's been doing it. The band leader has been doing it long before I was doing it. When I started doing it, we've been doing it. She's been calling me every year to do it, and she called me to come down to Florida to do this. So I'm sure if she has it, I have it. So anyway. Yeah, so everything is so wonderful, and I'm being very creative. And I probably shot 3 videos today. So many ideas. I still have 2 other videos that I need to edit and do voiceovers for. One of them I need to do voiceovers for. like it's just so much material. It's just it's just so much. And I have a lot of channels. I have a lot of pages and stuff like that. But like, and I have all this stuff like for when I do my live shows. I download clips of the songs that I sing because I usually sing. I'm not doing it today because of all that, and I didn't really warm up yet. But I didn't even warm up yet. Stuff the singers say. So I don't really want to sing right now. I'm not feeling it. Like I said, I might go back to sleep for a little while before the Oscars so that I'm, have some energy and stuff. I'm a little upset because I was supposed to go to brunch today with some friends and they never got in touch with me. And I texted them and they ain't called me back, so I know what happened. They went to a party last night and stayed out too late. And they probably either still sleeping or they're going to be dragging their behind on the bed and then going right back to bed or whatever. And they ain't got in touch with me. And I'm like, I'm not making that. I'm not making plans with y'all no more. This is like the second time this has happened. The last time, the guy was like, I had a bunch of meetings Monday morning, so like I needed to cancel it. And I'm like, let me know early as you know, because I could do other things. I could make other plans. This New York City, you can always do something. I'm a huge fan. Who you a huge fan of? Who are you a huge fan of? Not me. Not me. If you're saying me, then I appreciate it. If it's somebody else, then that's good too. Of me? Oh my God, you're a huge fan of me. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm just little old me, Robert Anton, singer, songwriter, actor, author, viral video maker. My little tagline, and I had a viral video since. Well, you know what? Actually, I had one January of last year. That was my last like really viral video. It was like 700,000 like in a few weeks. Where I have only 2,000 followers on Facebook. And it really was like, and I made a little money out of it. I was like, oh, and they sent me a friggin' thing. I got to pay taxes on that money. And I'm like, why? Why can't it just be, free and open money? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but whatever. How old are you? Never ask a gentleman's age. I have several decades under me. I have several decades. How do you, I can't read, right? I mean, I can't see. I got a little thing where I can actually like look at the things. How do you, what does that say? How do you go live? Or how do you live? I'm not understanding what that is. It says, how do you HO live? Or how do you live? I live like everybody else, day to day. One day to the next, you know what I'm saying? Chilling out, relaxing, maxing and relaxing. What am I talking about? So yeah, anyway, so because they canceled, I'm friggin' just chilling at home. And so I said, Lord, I'm not go on live because I'm going on live on TikTok after the Oscars are over with, at least for like a half hour, and hang out for a little while. And then by then, because I'm a late person, I'm a late night person, and I have been all my life. By then, I might be ready to sing a little bit. How do you do YouTube Live? Oh, YouTube Live is pretty easy. You just press on upload a video, then you press on you scroll over till you get live, and boom, boom, boom. There you go. You set everything up and you tell them to go live. It's very intuitive. Sometimes things you gotta look for stuff and you gotta search and you gotta wonder what's going on. It's not like that. All you do is boom, upload a video, scroll over to live. It'll ask you information. Go next, more information. Next, boom, ready to go live. Boom, go live. Easy. And I haven't done. I'm the last like maybe 2 weeks. I've been doing more lives on YouTube, but I hadn't been doing lives on YouTube this year and for a while before that. But once I think they sent me a notification on my Google on my Gmail that they had vertical lives now. So I was like, immediately I went to go try it out, because that's what everybody is doing. That's what you do on IG. That's what you do on Facebook. That's what you do on TikTok. So I'm like, let me go try out the vertical live. And I like that because I can have my phone and I have a little mount here and I can just, whenever I need to move or stuff like that, if I want to go to the bathroom, or if I want to go get something out of the bedroom, or if I want to go wash my dishes, which I sometimes do. And also I like, when I'm performing, I like to do a little, have a little range of motion. When marimba will thought to play, then the name made me sway like a lazy river goes to shore. Slay me smooth, slay me more. I do that on a karaoke sometime. I don't really know the words, but I love that song though, "Sway," Michael Bublé. But I fell in love with it when the Pussycat Dolls released it. But I sing the Michael Bublé version. What happened? What is Thester Stop? Slay me more. It says something inappropriate on here. Now, what's up? I'm trying to see what it is because I want. It says Thester is bullying you. Oh, don't worry about that. I'm not worried about somebody bullying. Let them alone, because you know what? It's the haters that blow you up. And you remember? I don't know if you remember when Justin Bieber came out with his first album. The first video. It had more. It had a lot of likes. It had a lot of likes, but it had more dislikes than it had likes. Why is that? Because the haters were coming back on 2, 3, 4, 5 channels to thumb it down. So, and that blew the video up. I think he was the first one to 1 billion. Let the haters hang out. Let them hang out. I don't mind at all, because I'm very comfortable in who I am and what I do. I'm not even worried about it. All right, Ramis, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for coming and saying hello. I really appreciate it. I know they sometimes chase people away and stuff too, but you got to have a thick skin. I've been doing music all my life, so you got to have a thick skin. Like from the time I went to high school for music, you learn that there are just going to be people, no matter how hard you're trying, no matter how well you do, no matter how much you're prospering, there will always be people who don't like you. There will always be people who try to tear you down. There will always be people who try to just mess up your day by saying something, just anything stupid. And it's like, why that ain't none of my business. That's you. You stay in your funk. I'm going to stay in my happiness. I'm going to stay in my joy. Because what? The joy never ends when you're not lost in sin. The joy never ends. That's an original Robert Anton song that you can get. It's Gospel House. You can get it on all your favorite download and streaming services. So it's, again, Robert Anton, The Joy Never Ends. Go and check it out. It's also here. I made a video here on YouTube. At least one. I probably made more than one. I have the one that I just made it with the song, and then I have one where I'm singing it at an event in Brooklyn Pride. So, and I'm singing like maybe 4 songs at Brooklyn Pride. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I try my best to be Bolivia, and I think it's not hard when you, well, let me say for one, I've always been like a happy-go-lucky kind of person. Even though I've had a lot of tragedy in my family and stuff like that, I've always had a buoyant personality, a buoyant spirit. Like, I snap back from things pretty quickly. But also, there was a point in my life when I was so down. And what did I start doing? I started reading inspirational books. I started reading stuff like, about Buddha and Islam and Christianity and, all these different religions. I started reading The Power of Now, The Secret. I was reading all these different books about how to change the direction of your life intentionally changing the direction of your life. And out of all of that stuff, what I learned is you create your reality. And it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to what happens to you that's important. that energy that you put out in the universe. If I get upset about something, yes, I go ahead and get upset. I feel it. If I need to scream and holler, if I need to cry, if whatever I need to do, I do it. And when I've wiped that emotion, I move on. And I go back to being my happy-go-lucky self. You know what I'm saying? I go back to thinking about great, beautiful things and the future, the great future that's going to be ahead of me and all that good stuff. So we're not here to stay in a funk for all of our lives. You know what I'm saying? We're here to learn as much as we can, and then we're to teach those things that we can to other people that need to learn those things also. And I believe the spirit, the universe, God, whatever you call it, brings all that into your circle of influence. They bring people that need to learn from you, and they bring people that you need to learn from. And most of these inspirational books and blah, 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 and most religions, in a nutshell, will say the same thing. They all say pretty much the same thing about love and manifestation and, a higher power and blah, blah, blah. They all speak about it. And we just need to tap into it because we're all divine spirits. We all are. This is just, so someone's saying on somebody I follow on TikTok who I really love. And at some point she was planning on leaving TikTok. She was like really disgusted and stuff like that. And Spirit was just talking to me, and I made a video. And let me tell you how many times this video did not work and did not go through. I kept trying. I was about to give up. And something was just like, don't do it. She needs to hear this message. So I finally got it right, uploaded it, and she saw it and she answered me back. And she was like, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we talked back and forth about stuff. And, she's still on TikTok now. She's found what she wanted to do. She's doing it full time she's doing social media as a full-time job. She's so happy. She was ready to quit just because things weren't going exactly the way that she thought they should be going. And I'm like, listen, if you love it, and if you want to make it your future, then keep working at it. Don't stop working. Don't stop. I've been working on being a writer. I've been going to writing class for over 10 years now. And I've published a few things. I've had a few things published. But I'm not anywhere close to the caliber of writer that I want to be. So I'm going to keep working on it and working on it and work until I get where I want to be as a writer. And I can literally sit down, in hopefully in Puerto Vallarta or Aruba and write a novel in 3 months. I mean, that's what I'm working towards. And it's going to happen because if you continue to work on your craft, you continue to believe in yourself, and you continue to practice, keep doing it, keep trying. Eventually, doors are going to open. Eventually, you're going to have those aha moments. And not only can I write, I write a fiction, kind of creative fiction, creative nonfiction, but I've got 2 scripts for movies that I started in class. I have a compilation book. I have a how-to book that I started before I even started class. That's the reason why I started class, because I was writing this how-to book on how to be a professional singer. And check out my So You Want to Be a Singer series here on YouTube. It has many, many great segments that are wonderful for any profession that you desire to attain. But I aim it at what I know, musicians and singers and people who don't believe that it's something that they can do for a living. And sometimes their parents and stuff don't believe it. And I'd be like, show them this video. I'm going to talk about it. You are? Well, you should be. You should be. Just remember, I don't know how old you are, but just remember, life happens. And it's meant to happen. Things are meant, you're here to learn. You're here to grow. You're here to experience and experiment. You're here to fail, to learn from your failure, and then succeed at something else. Or it's the same thing if you keep trying over and over again. If you remember that kind of thing and you always approach life as an adventure, then you will be A-okay. If I can inspire anybody to do anything in this life, to approach it as an adventure, because it is. It's such an adventure, and you shouldn't be scared. We all get nervous about things. The unknown makes everybody nervous. We have fear of what we don't know, and we make up all these different things that could happen, that might happen, that you don't want to happen. But you know what? That's all just fear talking to you. It doesn't want you to go out there and grab the bull by the horns, as they call it, or the horse by the reins. It wants you to sit, and stew and do nothing and not face your fears and not overcome them. You got to just be like, forget this. I'm going to do it. Boom. You go do it and you realize, oh my God, I wasn't that great at it, but like it was fun. And I learned this and I learned that. And oh my God, I met this person and that person. Some of these things that I've done that like maybe I shouldn't have. But I have friends all over the world because of it, all over the world. So it's like, you just got to get out there and do it. Got to get out there and do it and enjoy yourself. And I say, if I never did anything else in my lifetime, I have memories upon memories upon memories upon memories. I have so many memories, so many memories. If I did nothing else with my life right now, I've got so many memories. I could probably sit here on camera and just talk about them. And sometimes I do sit on and talk about just things that have happened and, blah, 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 this and the other. And I try to give a little inspirational moment or something. And trust me, I come from a ministry family, so I know that's all a part of it. My favorite food, it changes. Chinese food overall, I think, might be my favorite food now. But I love quesadillas. Quesadillas, it's between quesadillas and dumplings. I love dumplings. I love quesadillas. I also like empanadas, lasagna. Yeah, that's my favorite foods. Hey, Kylo, toilet. Is you just doing gibberish? Is you trying to speak a different language or something like that? Or what's up? What's up? I'll be trying. I'm just hanging out. I'm about to take me a nap. I'm about to go down and lay down for a few hours. I'm said a few hours, right? I should lay down for a few. When I take a little nap, it should be for like 20, 30 minutes, but I'll end up sleeping for an hour or two because it be feeling so good. And I had a dream this morning, I think. This morning, because it's just before I woke up. And I had somebody over to my house, and I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and they were going through my bag. And and I know it's a specific bag, because I was talking about it yesterday to a friend. And they were going through my little bag, like a little Louis Vuitton bag. And I was like, you got to get out of here. You got to leave. You can't stay here. Like, why are you trying to steal from me? Why are you going through my personal stuff like this? And, and then I literally had to like hit them a few times with like a pot or something like that for them to leave. And then they couldn't find the right door to leave. And then what else happened? Because I don't always remember my dreams. And I should write them down, but I don't always. Sometimes I do. But I forgot what happened after that. Oh, I was standing on a table and a dog came up and jumped up and had latched onto my hand and was just holding on. And I was like shaking. And then I woke up. Is that crazy? Sometimes I'd be having some nutty dreams. And I'm just like, and we've actually talked about that in class. Yes, I love me a vegetable quesadilla more above anything just about right now. I don't know. I did something, baby. I don't know what it was. But like, I was like, man, I woke up and I was like, because some dreams have meaning. And I woke up like thinking, what the heck was that about? I don't know. And I'm not going to worry about it. I actually, at one point in writing class, we had to record our dreams. So whatever we remember, we were supposed to wake up and record our dreams. And then we had to write a story based on the dream in class. And that was a lot of fun. I think we did it like 3 times. It was a lot of fun. I had one story where, and I'm going to finish this story eventually and, try to get it published. But it's where I inherited a house. And it was like maybe my grandmother's house or something like that. And it was a huge house. And so we were having like an open house or a housewarming. And I invited all these people. We had all this entertainment in a big ballroom or whatever. And then I was going in through like a room or something like that, and it was a back room that had all these like toys and games and kids' clothes and stuff like that. And they were my stuff from when I was a little kid, and it was all stuff that my father had saved over all these years when I was a kid. And he had been, because my dad's a performer, he's a singer also. But he had been traveling a lot, and my dad's been traveling since I was 3. So like I was like, this dream right here is really crazy, but like I had to write a story of it, and I started a story. But I still think about that sometimes. I still thinking about that, and I should tell him about it actually. Maybe I will sometime when we're talking. I'll tell him about it. Because he's a minister, and he probably do a little reading for me. He'll probably tell me what it means or something like that. But I think personally, I think it means that through all of his travels of the world and all that different stuff, he was always thinking about me. That's my takeaway from the dream. He was always thinking about me, and always loved me. What's my dream job? Well, I'm doing my dream job. I'm a singer. So, besides doing my own music, I sing at like weddings, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs. I don't know if you've heard of those before. Um, I sing at corporate parties, corporate events. I sing for society parties for, sometimes, rich folks, sometimes they just open up their backyard or a ballroom in their house and they have a full band where everybody can dance and stuff like that. I do quite a bit of that. And I'm in New York City. So Long Island is where a lot of rich people, a lot of wealthy people have huge houses and stuff like that. Even one of my band leaders had a really big house with like a saltwater pool in the backyard or something like that. So I'm getting to do my dream job. So that's another reason why I'm so happy. Um, but my future dream job is to be a writer of books. I think I'm just a born storyteller. And I always wanted to sing. I always sang, so I always wanted to sing. But like I've written poems, I've written short stories, I've had ideas for movies and books and all kinds of stuff. And of course I'm a songwriter, so I've written songs and they all have a story behind them. Um, so yeah, the next thing that I'll be doing, I'm already doing it. Now my friend says, "Oh, stop saying you're going to be, because you do it already." Um, but I write stories, and hopefully more and more of them will become published, and then I'll have a book out, and then I have another book out, and another book out, and I'll be like the Stephen King, but I don't write that kind of story. Who do I? What kind of stories? Who is a person that I can think of that I would like to write stuff like, or I probably already like write stuff like. Yeah, it's great to be happy. You can't be happy all the time, but you can be happy majority of the time. um, I'm trying to think of who I would write. Who right now? I can't think of anyone. I can't think of anyone because like my genre is creative nonfiction. And what that means is they're true stories that are they're true stories that are embellished. So there's the kernel of the story there that actually happened, but then you add on stuff and you make stuff up, and some of the settings that might be real settings, but other ones might be made up. So that's kind of what I am going towards. But like when we write in class and stuff, I have so many stories that I've written in class that are not based are not based in fact. They are not based in any story I've known. It's just that we were talking about something, we were studying something, and he said, write something like this. And you do that when you're learning because you want to learn from people who are successful at what they do. And not just people who are popular, but people that are respected by other people who do the same thing, you know? So like if you want to be a carpenter and you want to apprentice under somebody, you don't want to apprentice under just anybody. You want to apprentice under somebody who's good or great that other carpenters respect and may even have referred you to, you know. So that's kind of like what it is. So we study from the greats, people who write wonderful stuff like Toni Morrison, and I can't think of all the names. I'm so bad with names to begin with, but I can't think of a bunch of people's names. The woman who wrote Kindred, and the woman who wrote Ministry for the Future. That's a guy though. Kim Stanley Robinson, I think it is. I'm reading that right now, and I'm having a hard time getting through it because it's really, really, really long, and it doesn't really resonate with my soul. Some of the story in it does, but some of the other stuff doesn't really resonate with me. But because it's published, it's considered to be very, very well written. We have to read it and critique it and try to learn things from it, good things that are done there, but also things that we don't like, that may be good, but that we don't want to use in our writing. Because I know there are certain things in this book that I'm like, it really kind of bores me, and I wouldn't use it in my storylines unless it was absolutely needed. But it's good to know that it's an option. And what you do when you're really studying something for a long period of time is you're studying different options that you can take, and different directions that you can take, and different approaches that you can take. And then hopefully your spirit and your creativity melds all of that into your style, and you come up with your own kind of hybrid kind of way of doing it your way. But you're learning from the greats. You're learning from, the best that ever did it, hopefully. I don't have a dog, no pets. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. You have a wonderful rest of the weekend. I don't know if you're watching the Oscars tonight, but enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you for hanging out with me. I might get off of here now, too. I really appreciate when somebody's talking and asking questions and stuff like that, because a lot of times you can have, even in TikTok, I can have 30 people in the room and nobody's saying anything. So I'm just sitting there talking. And trust me, I ain't got no problem with that. I can tell stories. One thing leads to the next, leads to the next, leads to the next for me a lot of times. But like when you're interacting with people and they're asking you stuff and, you're going back and forth, that's what I think social media is about. It's about an interaction between people that might never get to interact in real life. So like I have people from India, or I have people from Czechoslovakia, or I have people from, Samoa, from wherever that I might never get to interact with in real life, and we're interacting online. And sometimes we take it offline now and then, not that often, but like when we have conventions and stuff like that. When YouTube has had, they have VidCon every year now. I did the very first, I did not organize it, but I was at the very first convention for YouTube. It was called 789 in New York City. And it was a weekend of events. And it was organized by, I forget, it was like maybe a small group of people. It wasn't organized by YouTube. It was organized by creators. And they said, we're going to be here. We're just going to meet up here and hang out. We're going to meet up there and hang out. We're going to meet up there and hang out for the final day. We're going to meet up in Central Park and hang out. And literally, I thought I was going to show up at Central Park and it was going to be like 40 or 50 people. And it was like 300, 400, 500 people. And everybody was surprised. But I met so many great people, so many YouTubers that I had been watching and commenting and having conversations with over the years. Some of them bigger YouTubers, some that are now famous and been on television shows and in movies and stuff like that. And I made connections and still keep in touch with some of them. And I'm still here doing my content, waiting for my blow up moment, right? But I'm lucky. By the time we did that convention or something, by the time like that happened, I was in my 30s already. And most of them were like in their teens and early 20s. So literally, like they were asking me for advice and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're like, "Oh, but how do you this and the other? And what if I want to do so and so? And what if I could do so and so? And blah blah blah." And I'm like, and I gave them, depending on who they were, because I watched, a lot of them I had watched pretty much growing up, on YouTube and doing their content and stuff like that. And I gave them appropriate advice for what I thought their situation was, and what they told me their situation was. Um, yeah, it's always good to have a little experience under your belt. But my kind of advice is never you should do this or you should do that. I'm always of the mind that, if I was in that situation, I would probably do this or that, but it depends on what you want. Depends on if you want to be this or if you want to be here. Depends on where you're planning on going with this, blah, 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 and the other. And then they make their own choices. They get their own ideas from the things that I have talked about. And I think that works best because it allows everyone to have their own individual personality and to follow their own path. Because especially if you're a creator, you're special. You're bringing energy and you're bringing things into the universe that didn't already exist. And if you're doing it well and you're really popular, then you're extra special because, like, not everybody's going to resonate with a wide audience. Not everybody's going to resonate with 1 million people or 20 million people or stuff like that. A lot of us might, maybe like me, resonate with 1,000 people or 10,000 people if you're lucky. If you're lucky. But there are some people who resonate with a wide swath of the population all over the world, and they are extremely blessed. And they should walk the line that they feel is their destiny. You know what I'm saying? Is that too deep? Is that too deep? I don't know. I get deep every now and then. Hey, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it now. Let me tell you. Okay, I am going to sign out now because it looks like everybody has jumped out of here and left me behind. This is going to be live for a while, so, come check it out and say hello. If you have not already commented, please comment and say, hey, I was here. Or if you like the advice or something that I said, please tell me down in the comments because I'm looking for more comments. I'm looking for more comments. I'm looking for more comments. All right, this is Robert Anton. I'm out. Peace. How do you cut this thing off? Okay, there we go.